Hey, my name is Vashtalos. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, another build update. So, what am I bringing to you today? First, sorry for giving you guys whiplash. I know it's been like a roller coaster. I'm playing Double Strike. No, I'm not. I'm playing Spectral Helix. And I'm here to tell you again, no, I'm not. Prepare for more whiplash. We're changing skills again. We're Reave now. Reave feels really good. I started trying it a couple of days ago, and the more I thought about it, Spectral Helix was just far too expensive. And even though I still believe that it is a mechanical powerhouse, Juggernaut, after all, did make a Spectral Helix slower projectiles build work to great success. Um, One, not only am I not Juggernaut, I wasn't really comfortable with how expensive reaching that simplex amulet with the reduced projectile speed from the Calandra mechanic was going to be. I wasn't confident that was going to be fun on the way either, so we changed skills. And this has been a lot of fun. It opens us up to quite a few things. One, because it's not a strike skill, we don't have to invest into strike mechanics. And then two, because it's an AoE attack skill, we can now use a new aura. Where is it? Blood and Sand, which just gives us free more damage for having an AoE tagline. So yeah, that's pretty nice. We basically never swap away from Blood Stance and we just pick up free damage. And we attack really fast, guys. We no longer have enough mana regeneration with a level 20 clarity to keep up with how fast we attack. So luckily, Crown of Ice has some mana leech on it. I'll go over the skill gems in a full build guide, I guess, but this is just an update for now. So I just want to update you guys on what I'm doing. Let me know if you're interested in that. I'll try to get it out sooner rather than later in that case, but this has been an absolute blast ever since I swapped over. So let's get to talking about some of the changes, because there's been quite a few. Like I said, Crown of Eyes. We're no longer using Obscurantis, not a projectile build. Obscurantis gives us a lot of accuracy, but really, so does Crown of Eyes. It gives us almost 350 if you get a good one. Comes with a downside, reduced fire resistance, but has an incredible trio of modifiers. Leech attack damage, leech mana, and increases and reductions to spell damage also apply to attacks at 150% of their value. This is important because if you've ever played a strength stacker, you'll know how powerful Iron Will is. If we go over to our POB, this is my most recent tree that I've been playing around with. Iron Will is about 11% of our DPS, and we're not even really invested into strength all that much. But this is very efficient because we're pathing over towards this jewel socket to use Transcendent Spirits. I'll go over that in just a little bit, because we're still going over the main gear choices. But yeah, that's why we pick up Crown of Eyes, is for Iron Will and our pathing for those uh, overarching jewel sockets. The auras that we put in our helmet are Vitality, Clarity, Arrogance, and Precision. Our amulet is still Untouched Soul, since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 empty green sockets. That is 2,250 flat accuracy being added through this amulet slot. By Hinakora's Sight, and hello, Untouched Soul. That is a lot of accuracy. You can corrupt it for good things like +1 to curse, +1 to maximum all elemental resistances, 15 to all elemental resistances. I think it can actually go up to 16. Yeah, it can go up to 16. But this is endgame. Untouched Soul? Yeah, I'm sticking with this. This is cheap, and I think it's fun. It's as strong as you want it to be. And you can have red sockets if you want more life. If you're feeling a little squishy, you know what? Pump up that life value through 40 max life at a time. I'll stop glazing the Untouched Soul. We're still using Replica Last Resorts. The only thing that's changed here is that we've enchanted them through Harvest, and that tag is quality does not increase physical damage. 2% quality grants 1% increased accuracy. It's really nice. It's just free accuracy sitting on the table. Super endgame, we're planning on double corrupting these. The ideal Replica Last Resort, at least for me, is this enchant, 20% quality or more, and you also want the implicits to be 10% chance to block attack damage while dual wielding. And the other important implicit for these replica last resorts is critical strike multiplier. I think it can go up to 25%. Maybe it's 25 to 30%. Not confident. I don't want to go and look it up on PoEDB right now. But it's a lot of critical strike multiplier for such a simple corruption. I say simple, yeah, just do it, forehead. But really, it's just like an easy way to fit in more damage into the build because critical strike multiplier near the end is like, yeah, we really want as much of that as we can possibly get. So that's both of our weapons. Dual wield them. Not much else to say about it. For the chest piece, we're using a lightning coil still. I don't remember if I talked about this in the last video, but yes, we're using a lightning coil. We have no other way to really pick up physical damage from hits taken as elemental. This is one of the best, cheapest ways that we can do it. It gives us lightning damage to our attacks. It gives us flat life, and you can corrupt them. The only corruption that I think we care about, at least straight up, is the +2 to level of socketed AoE gems. There's other things, right? Like you could get reduced elemental damage taken. You could get, can chest pieces roll +1 to maximum all elemental resistances? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But you can get just percent increased damage. I think it goes up to 50%. So there are a few others than just +2 to level of AoE gems. But with +2 to level of AoE gems, you can raise that effectiveness of added damage just inherently for your Reave of Refraction. And that's pretty valuable in my opinion. It just means that everything you're adding from the ground up is going to be greater. So that's really Lightning Coil. It puts a pretty heavy lightning resistance penalty on the build. But that's kind of like a theme if you haven't noticed. We're reducing our fire resistance, we're reducing our lightning resistance, but we're able to solve it through the Magnate. The Magnate, another unique item. I know you may be rolling your eyes by now, but hear me out. It gives us all elemental resistances, something we need. It gives us 50% increased flash charges gained. And if you're aware of who I am, I'm a big fan of Balbala Flask Tech. Just to give you a quick rundown on what that is, Balbala Flask Tech is where you get 25% increased flash charges gained. That's like the baseline. And then you need your flasks to be 12 seconds long. Usually about 12.2 seconds is like, hey, you're right on the money. This is going to work out. And with 25% increased flash charges and then a 12.2 second long flash duration, and 2 missing flask slots plus a trader, which gives 4 charges per empty flask slot every 5 seconds, that will maintain 3 elemental flasks, giving you 40% all elemental resistances and then 5 max all elemental resistances. That helps out a whole lot against these two items, but it doesn't solve them completely. So we have to pick up additional resistances through a suffix on both rings. One will be fire, the other will be lightning. Unfortunately, I haven't quite worked out how to get our chaos resistance higher, but I think we're at 0. Yeah, we're at 0% chaos resistance with only the implicits from these rings. So that feels pretty nice. I think we also get a little bit of chaos resistance from the travel node on the way to Unbreakable. But the Magnate's really nice. It saves us passive points. Otherwise, if we weren't using the Magnate, we would be picking up Careful Conservationist, as that would give us not 25% increased flash charges gained, but it would give us 20%, and then a more important modifier, in my opinion, is reduced flash charges gained, because instead of working against, what is it called? The Trader and the 4 charges every 5, it's reducing a greater number, which is 20. So 10% of 20 would be taken away, which is 2, instead of you gaining just 1 charge. The math works out, trust me. So if you don't want to use the Magnate, then pick up the Careful Conservationist. By the way, this is our new tree pathing. Before you get your jewels, Transcendent Spirits, I wouldn't recommend this pathing. The older pathing was more along the bottom here. So before we were down here and we were picking up things like this, Like we would pick up, instead of this elemental mastery, we would be down here picking up primeval force. You could pick up additional spell suppression. There's additional accuracy. There's a cluster jewel if you really care about it. But really, while you're leveling, I would recommend Swagger. Swagger and Blade Barrier. Once you feel like you have enough damage, you can drop Swagger and Blade Barrier because they will no longer be necessary. That's just a little quick aside. You're going to be anointing Weathered Hunter, or at least I am. You can anoint whatever you want. But Weathered Hunter is really nice because it's got accuracy and then gives us elemental resistances. Hey, there it is again, elemental resistances. We bought some new boots. Still Storm Riders, but these were like 60 chaos. Still the same amount of spell suppression, 11%. But it has fire resistance and lightning resistance. And movement speed. We finally have movement speed instead of just having 11% spell suppression on our boots and some dexterity. Nothing else really to say about these boots. They're not perfect, not really even spectacular, but they get the job done. And I would recommend picking up something similar. Still using Oscarm. Haven't corrupted it yet. Corruptions that would be on my mind are attacks have plus the base critical strike chance or +1 to frenzy charges. The gems that we have in our Oscarms are Blood and Sand, Purity of Elements, Petrified Blood, and Whirling Blades. Everything else is an empty socket. The support gems for Reave of Refraction, Multi-Strike, Increased Critical Damage, Night Blade, Inspiration, and Elemental Damage with Attacks. I plan on making that an Awakened Elemental Damage with Attacks as soon as possible. The intelligence rolls on these rings, super important. You cannot do without them if you plan on doing Crown of Eyes. If you don't plan on using Crown of Eyes, well, you're free of that intelligence requirement. You'll have lower mana regeneration from Clarity because Clarity does have a reasonably high intelligence requirement. So, yeah, getting rid of that intelligence will both free you and also require you to solve some additional things. So it's up to you. I think that's it for the super upfront gear. We finally enchanted, or not enchanted, we crafted the suffixes onto our flasks, which would be 15% increased damage taken from hits as leached as life during effect, and then regenerate 3% of life per second during effect. If you want to know how to get those, you don't have those on your crafting bench yet, just go and buy some Cinder Swallows on Tradesite. Let me see if I can find one for you real quick. Cinder Swallow. So these will have a veiled modifier at the bottom. And you'll take them to Jun. She'll give you some options. And just choose those. Regenerate 3% of life, and then 15% of damage taken from hits as leached as life. Really, really useful. Rather underutilized in other people's builds, in my opinion. I think they're super powerful. Let's talk about that passive tree a little bit more that we've gone over the character sheet. We're using a lot of tattoos now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That is 110 dexterity to the void, to the ether, and it drops us all the way down to 128. We don't pick up Magebane. If you want to pick up Magebane, you're going to have to move your Brutal Restraint to a different jewel socket up here in this triad. And the reason is that, well, Brutal Restraint doesn't just transform one keystone, it transforms all keystones in the vicinity. So my recommendation would be to take it, put it in this top right one. If you want to pick up Magebane, that would cap out your spell suppression chance. But if you're picking up lucky spell suppression chance anyways, I mean, why do you care about capping your spell suppression chance? It's almost never going to happen. But I would only recommend this passive tree, this pathing right now, as you see it going up through here, all of these jewel clusters, if you have Transcendent Spirit. I really want to emphasize this. Don't do this unless you have these jewels. You can make these jewels rather cheaply if you do it yourself. So you would need to buy a Tempered Spirit, the reduced jewel. Let me see if I can get you an infographic of that. Tempered Spirit POE Wiki. So it's this little jewel right here. It's this green guy. I don't know if you can see it. It's really small. Um, but it's a little green jewel, and it's super cheap. Right now, I think I bought the last one that I crafted on for 1 chaos. So you buy that for 1 chaos, then you need a Vial of Transcendence. Vial of Transcendence comes from the Temple of Atsuatl. It's like the boss there, the Apex, whatever it's called. They're like 80 chaos, 80 to 100 chaos. Otherwise, you're going to be paying like 150 chaos for the actual jewel that you care about. Not Tempered Spirit, but Transcendent Spirit. And the reason you care about this is that it gives you 125 to accuracy rating per 10 dexterity on unallocated passives and radius. And when paired with Brutal Restraint, that's a match made in heaven. Gives us a lot of accuracy rating. 1,825 accuracy rating right there. And then 1,725 accuracy rating right there. Comes with a downside. Reduced movement speed. Kind of a bummer. Oh well. I like accuracy on this character, and we don't really feel the reduced movement speed all that much. So it's really nice. Highly recommend. Once you get these jewels, you're going to absolutely feel the difference. My damage went from like, I want to say on a DPS tooltip, we went from like 400 or 600,000 all the way up to what you see now, 1.4 million. And then when we've got everything like ramped up, when we're in an actual map, it can go up to like 3 million, I think. That's with I think, Rage up. If you can, pick up a Balbala that gives you additional accuracy. I know it says some wonky things right here are picked up for my Balbala additional effects, but just pick up accuracy. You care about accuracy in this build. Go figure. Be sure to prioritize this elemental mastery before doing anything else. Say you have your jewels and you want to work towards this passive tree. Say you were down here as I advised, and now you want to work towards this pathing now that you've got your jewels. Well, I would say if you don't have the levels yet to really get both of the jewel sockets, you should be prioritizing this elemental mastery. Honestly, if you don't have the passive points to make this work yet, you should probably still be down here in this pathing. If you want a specific level as for when this pathing that you're looking at right now would work, I would say 95, 96 is when you could think about swapping away from that bottom row pathing. And the last thing that I think I need to give you guys an update on would be we got our cluster jewel. So that would be Quick and Deadly, Forces, Deadly Repartee, and Martial Prowess to the bottom. And then, oh goodness, I think I'm forgetting about something. I always forget something. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Oh, I know. Tekrod's Gaze. This is nice. I got memed on a little bit for deciding to do this while streaming, but I will stand by Tekrod's Gaze for this build. I'm confident in it. I mean, look at it. 14.9% average damage just from this jewel. That's a lot of critical strike chance. That's a lot of critical strike multiplier. We use 5 Murderous Eye jewels. I don't have every single one in my actual build right now in the POB. But I assure you I am using 5 Murderous Eye jewels. So we have full value from Tekrod's Gaze. So it wouldn't be just 14%. It would be something even greater than that. Let me put that in front of us real quick. Items. Boom. That's like a perfect one. Let's put in like a junker. Okay, that shoots it up to almost 18% DPS just from the scaling value of this unique jewel. Not to mention it makes these jewels, the Murderous Eye jewels, with accuracy on them, much more valuable. It makes them more competitive than a split personality that gives us 350 accuracy. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Tekrod's Gaze is cheap and powerful. The amount of accuracy you need for a Tekrod's Gaze Murderous Eye jewel like a rare jewel, is significantly lower than a split personality's travel requirement. So, not to be confused, you want both. You want both a split personality, you want 2 of them, and you want 5 murderous eye jewels. Tekrot's Gaze includes itself within that 5, so really you only need 4 rare jewels. But I think it's absolutely fantastic that through the use of this honestly forgotten unique jewel, it can turn middle of the road rare jewels into absolute pumpers. So keep your eyes peeled. If you are looking for some additional power in your melee builds, consider using Tekrod's Gaze. This is really nice. So I think that's just about everything I have to update you on. We're still leveling. We're working towards acuity right now. Every build I play, I wish I had more passive points, but this is actually really rounded out quite well. I've been delving. I don't know if I have enough to delve. Oh, I do. Let's do a delve node. Let's do a delve node, shall we? Don't forget to drink your flasks at the start of your map if you're using Balbala. If you know, you know. And this is really cheap, guys. This level of power, I would say, has still cost me less than 10 Divine Orbs. I would say if I had to be like a doomer, if I were being a doomer right now in terms of how expensive this build is, maybe 12 div. I honestly would argue against anything more than 12 div. But I'm rather confident. It's not like I've been keeping track. This is why I'm giving you like a range. But I do have a microtransaction that has been keeping track of my drops in case you don't believe me. And that would be the Exile's Pilfering Ring. I would like you to look at how many Divine Orbs I've had drop. I would like you to look at how many Chaos Orbs I've had drop. Really not that much. The way I've been making my currency is by doing Abyss. I'll do Abyss, and they will drop jewels just like our Murderous Eye jewels. Except not always Murderous Eye jewels. Sometimes Ghastly, sometimes Searching Eye, or Seeing Eye. I can't remember the exact wording, but yeah. If you know the right modifiers, some of those jewels can be worth anywhere from 4 chaos, 10 chaos, 20 chaos, 40, and some of them have sold for a Divine Orb. I would say I've sold maybe 4 or 5 items for a Divine Orb. So if you want my honest opinion on how much this build has cost me, 8 to 12 Divine Orbs, and on the low end, absolutely below 10 Divine Orbs. I hope you'll give this a try. Seriously, I'm going to put the POB in the comments. I'm going to import this character into the new in-game plan. And the reason for that is that I know it's getting like a little jumbled in the POB, but I really want you guys to have an idea as to like the mistakes I've been making so that you can avoid those mistakes and hopefully experience the character in a way that I haven't been able to, which is streamlined. I want to bring this to you and help you circumnavigate some of the more frustrating parts that I have had to endure due to me not really fully understanding everything. So, yeah, that's the update for this time. Maybe I should do one more map, I guess. We'll do one more, huh? Why not a tier 16? Why not a tier 16, huh? Reflects elemental damage. That's not very fun for us. We'll go back to our hideout. You see what I mean, though? It's like we're not fully at half-life or low-life, so we have to solve that. Oh! I know what I've forgotten to talk to you guys about. Holy cow, I can't believe I actually forgot. You may be wondering, why don't you use any frenzy charges? We do. We weapon swap to a Quill Rain, rear guard, so that we don't have no block chance, and then frenzy, blink arrow, blood rage, power charge on crit, greater multi-proj so that we don't have to aim as much, and then frost blink. This is so that we don't have to have all of our movement skills in our empty sockets, reducing our power. So on weapon swap, since we can't use a Sinvicta's Metal anymore, rest in peace, I really loved Sinvicta's Rampage swap. I will absolutely die on this hill. GGG, please give it back. But, yeah, there is another weapon swap tech that I would like to talk to you guys about in case you're not really interested in, maintaining your frenzy charges through this. You don't really need them for mapping, so I would only recommend maintaining your frenzy charges in a bossing situation. But yeah, I'm super sad about losing Sinvicta's Metal, man. That was such a fun weapon swap. Einhar has so many best friends. So I kind of forgot what I was coming out of the map to come show you. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, weapon swaps. Which tab? Did I put them in the unique tab? I think I did. Yes. Okay, so the other weapon swap tech that I have imagined could be useful. Shields. Where are shields? There they are. The other weapon swap tech that I thought might be useful is using Alde and the Red Blade banner with some war cries. The war cries that would be useful for us. No, I don't want to talk to you, Jun. Those war cries would be Enduring Cry, so that if you didn't want to go into a map and get hit in order to get your endurance charges, you could use Enduring Cry. With Red Blade Banner, you would automatically reach the maximum amount of power, or sorry, not power charges, endurance charges. Intimidating Cry, if you want occasional double damage on weapon swap. Not Ancestral Cry. Seismic Cry, unfortunately, we're not a slam skill, so we can't really benefit from that, but we can benefit from Infernal Cry. Since we're using Reave of Refraction, we occasionally will have some of our physical damage turn over to fire, so, there's a loose amount of benefit from the increased fire damage taken that Infernal Cry applies to nearby monsters. But it also really increases your wave clear through the combustibility. It just blows everything up nearby. It's pretty nice. But again, it's a little clunky. I'll just show you what that would look like. Oh, I've got a quiver in. Can't wield a claw and a quiver. So I wonder if I still have my jewels. War cries. Auto exertion, enduring cry. Hello. Get back over there. Urgent orders. Was that? Okay, that was intimidating cry. Urgent orders, and then infernal cry. So really, you would have like shield charge on this character instead of something else, or maybe you would just use another whirling blades so that you have a movement skill on weapon swap, and you would just yell, and that would be your weapon swap. You swap back. But I don't really want to do that. There's benefit from that, right? But that's not really what I want to do. I like the frenzy charge for bossing setup. You could even put in Culling Strike instead of greater multiple projectiles. Could be pretty useful. And the way that you would play this in a bossing fight is like, say that there's a point where you need to move away from the boss. You move away from the boss, maintain your frenzy charges, and you move back in. Sorry for such long side note. We'll do this breach. We'll finish the map. I want you guys to see what it looks like. And this is really what I do on it. I just kind of blast tier 16 maps. Not a huge fan of tier 17s. And this is just a lot of fun. Whoa! Huge damage just happened there. So we're not immortal. Absolutely not immortal. But we're pretty fast and we're pretty fun. We do relatively big damage. We're so slow. One of the downsides of Whirling Blades is that if you use it accidentally directed into a wall, you're not going to be moving anywhere. It's like you really have to work on the micro positioning of your mouse in order to have this movement skill really shine. Gosh, those grasping vines are such a pain. If you don't care about increased AoE, like right now my Reave is pretty big, and that's because of one of the ascendancy nodes we've taken. I guess I forgot to talk about that too. So hold on. Let me finish this Abyss and I'll talk about that. So one of the nodes we swapped our ascendancies away from was Untiring. We were using this because we thought we needed the life regeneration rate. It's really not all that much. So we swapped over towards the Unyielding, just checking if I'm going to die. And this gives us increased damage per endurance charge, but then also increased area of effect. We have 4 maximum endurance charges, and that is 24% increased area of effect. If you don't think you need this and you're more frustrated by the reduced slow effects being applied to us sometimes, just drop that and pick up Unstoppable. You're probably not really going to notice it all that much that you've lost 24% increased area of effect, and I mean 8 times 4, what is that? 32? 32% increased damage? So this is just something I'm playing around with right now, and Unstoppable is undeniably the greater quality of life. No pun intended. Let's pick up this Orichalcum. Aurichalcum. Aurichalcum. How do you guys pronounce it? I feel like the only way to pronounce it is intentionally bad. That's like the only acceptable option. Those are the jewels that I'm talking to you guys about. Pick them up, identify them. That one doesn't look like it's got anything good on it. And that one doesn't look like it's got anything good on it. That's how I funded the character. And that's the boss. So, I hope you enjoyed this update. I hope you'll tune into my Twitch sometimes. I stream every single day. I plan on going live in honestly just a few hours here. And we've got a World of Warcraft raid scheduled for later tonight. So don't be surprised if you catch me in the midst of Azeroth, fighting dragons and demons alike. But yeah, I'll leave the link to the POB down below in the description. I'll leave a link to my Twitch channel. I'll leave a link to the Discord community if you want to come stop by in the channel and say hi, or just figure out what maybe our next plans are. I'll quit dragging my heels. Peace out, stay safe, have fun, and be sure to let me know how your week 2 of 3.25 Settlers of Calgar has been going.